See here. Hi, guys and gals. Well, I hope you're all well. Today is Thursday. Yeah, Thursday at, coming up to 9 o'clock, 5 to 9 in the morning. So what am I doing vlogging it? I should be at work, shouldn't I? Well, no, today is over in Switzerland. It's, and in my part, where we live is a Catholic part, or I should rather say where I work, because that's what counts. In the Catholic part is Corpus Christi, and that's a day off. So I have the day off. Mrs. DC is working. It's not that she shouldn't have the day off, but when you're working in a senior's residence, well, you just work sometimes on the holidays. So she's off at work. Yeah, so I will be doing a few things later on. I'm going to have to work on on a picture project. My son doesn't watch this video, so I can talk about it. It's his birthday. He's going to be 30 years old, and I want to make a pictorial. I did that for the older son, of the years, like from birth up to now. And so we'll see how that comes out. And so I got to go over older pictures. And when they were really young, we were at a period where we didn't do as many slides, because then we used to do a lot of slides. So I'm going to have to find some pictures out of albums, out of boxes, and scan them, so to digitalize them. So of course that's where the biggest part of the project is. Then from the early 2000s, I can't remember now if it would be 2000, around the 2001, 2003, I guess, I got my first digital camera. Was an HP. Well, actually, I got first of all, I had a video. It was like my webcam that was shaped like a camera, and I could bring it around. It didn't have any external. Basically, you had to plug it in because you could almost say the SD card was in it, and so you could take pictures. So I used to bring it around and take pictures. Those were the first, I was going to say, digital ones I had. And then I had an HP digital camera. I don't think they don't make them anymore. But that was a really good camera, and it had really low resolution videos. But I started making the first videos I made was with that, and then moved on. Let me see. Then I got a small compact Nikon. What is it called? A Coolpix, maybe, something like that. Then moved on to digicams for a while, which I had a Sanyo, that would make really good pictures and good movies, but it didn't have vibration control at the time. And then went on to digicams with Sony. They're really good, actually, and they take pretty good pictures as well. But then I've moved on to digital cameras, like the one I'm on right now is a Canon M6 Mark II, but I've had the 70D, the 80D, and different handheld ones from Canon. So I've become, like you could say, a Canon fanboy in that respect. But I still have my Sony digicams. They're really good. Anyway, so all of that is just to say is that I'm going to be working on pictures, and I've managed to say almost nothing, and we're up to 3 minutes something. Oh well, anyway, I guess that's what it is when you have a lazy morning. It's not raining right now, but it's supposed to be raining cats and dogs later on and for the rest of the week. So, if I wanted to go out, I'll probably do something quickly outside later on, and we'll see. I've been quite into old pictures lately. What I mean by that is that myself and a few cousins of mine, one is a cousin, let me see now, first cousin once removed, and the other one is my first cousin. We're into family trees and genealogies and stuff like that. And some of them have some really old pictures. And I have a big box that comes from my parents, which I brought over when my dad passed away. And there's a lot of really, like pictures, like of 90, 100 years old. Sometimes we know who they are, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we look at the people's faces and say, oh, that's this side of the family. So looking at one picture the other day with my mom, and I said, oh, there's no names on the back of it. But I said, you look at the faces and you kind of say, oh, that's Dad's side of the family. But I can't picture who it is. And she looked at it and she said, yeah, it almost has to be. But she couldn't say who it was. Things like that. So there's a site on Facebook called the Eastern Township. Eastern Township something. And it has a lot of old pictures. So we've been going through that, and I've been like really using high-tech software programs to clean them up. And it's funny, if a picture is pretty good at the start, and it's usually just a contrast problem or something, or a lighting problem, it is incredible all that you can pull out. I mean, remove the layers, if I can say, or the contrasts between the blacks and the whites and so on, and pull out what the real picture was. And that is fascinating. It really is. I mean, the history just kind of like jumps out. And I've had pictures of my great-grandfather where the original picture, you can't even notice he has a pipe in his mouth, and all of a sudden the pipe just comes out. Or an old picture of my dad where he's a baby, and I had never noticed there was a really old car of, we're talking about the early 30s, and all of a sudden that car comes out, but even more, there was another child sitting in the window of the car looking out. I had never seen that, and I've seen that picture, like I'm 63, coming up to 63, and I've seen that picture all my life, and I've never seen those details. So yeah, it's a fascinating thing. So I've been going over with the people on that site. This is an old book. It's in French, but it exists in English. I can't find my English copy, I'm sorry, but I mean, I've got a couple copies in French. I have my dad's copy, and I had one that I have myself, and I have the English one somewhere. I'm pulling this one out because within this book, I mean, it's the story of Abercorn. Abercorn is a small town in the Eastern Townships where I was born, lived for the first 3 years. My dad lived there most of his life until he was, until I was 3 years old, basically. And there's a lot of family history that happens to be in this book. And that picture here is a picture also of my dad's family when he was, I was going to say probably looking at that picture, a young teenager. And it's really, really cool. I mean, but it's one of these books like, my dad would talk about how he was when he was young. My dad was a great storyteller. And reading this book, I thought like, wait, he could have written this. So many of the things there are like exactly as he told them, and it was really, really impressive. So I put a picture of this book up on that webpage so that the people could see it, and probably go and get it, because there's a lot of people from around that region. There's a funny little story on that, is that I put up a picture of my grandmother, and it was a picture of my grandmother in the 20s. So she's wearing, that Charleston style dress, of the roaring 20s and so on. And people started asking, because I put her family name there, and then people started asking questions. And I got into a discussion on that Facebook page with a person, and then as the discussion led on, she asked me then all of a sudden, we got into where I lived and, in Sutton and who I knew. And at one point she asked me, would you happen to know Susan and Patrick, so-and-so? And I said, well, yeah, I do very well. They're my cousins. And I could almost hear her laughing at the other end when she said, oh, well, because Susan's my sister-in-law. So she was actually, married to her husband's brother. No, she was not married. She was my cousin's sister-in-law, but I mean, so her husband, my cousin's husband's sister. What a small world. How many experiences like that do you end up having? Just all of a sudden meeting somebody, talk, and end up saying, hey, I know these people, or we know them, they know us, but we don't know each other. Funny, isn't it? Coming up to 10 minutes. I'm going to stop it there. DC signing off. Tell me about your own experiences. Take care.